It's the last of this week's broadcasts before the weekend. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, brought to you as always by Lay of the Land. And we take a look at those top stories from Israel every Monday to Thursday right here. So before we head off into the weekend, let's take a look at those stories making headlines. Now, a couple of weeks ago, when US President Biden was visiting Israel, he made the announcement that Saudi Arabia had agreed to open their airspace to all traffic going to or from Israel. Of course, this significantly cuts down travel time. And just last week, we had that first flight at Cathay Pacific coming in from Hong Kong, cutting out that time to land in Israel. Well, El Al CEO Dina Bental this morning, when she was speaking about the last earnings of the second quarter, good earnings for the second quarter reported by El Al, they are starting to see recovery from the pandemic, but she announced something very important. She said it was only a matter of days till we hear from Oman, another Gulf state, that they too will be opening up their airspace to El Al flights. Now, it is reported that the lower costing Arkia airline, which is almost a rival to El Al, have also applied for permission and are waiting to hear pretty soon. So watch the space. We hope to have another positive announcement, this time coming from the Gulf. Now, what set off Operation Breaking Dawn last week, you ask? Well, I tell you, it is believed that the arrest of the head of Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Bassem al-Saadi, during counter-terror operations in Jenin in the West Bank was one of the catalysts that set off the exchange of fighting and the shooting of targets in the Gaza Strip by the IDF. Well, the United Nations Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process, Tor Vennesland, tweeted out earlier today that he had visited al-Saadi in prison and warned him of the fragility of the Gaza ceasefire, and that he had also dispatched a team to visit his family in their homes. He said that this is part of the UN's mandate to try and maintain calm in the Gaza Strip. And Israel announced earlier today that they were extending the custody of al-Saadi to at least August the 16th. Now, Palestinian Islamic Jihad have threatened to resume fighting unless Saadi is set free. Meanwhile, it was reported earlier today that at least 4 children who were injured due to a rocket misfiring from Gaza have come into Israel and are receiving medical care and attention in a hospital in Jerusalem. The world's most famous Soviet dissident, iconic human rights activist, former head of the Jewish Agency for Israel, and Israeli and Jewish national treasure Natan Sharansky was speaking to Voice of America last night, their Russian-speaking service, and he said that the reason that Russia is doing what they are doing with regards to the Jewish Agency, trying to end its mandate, or at least its ability to perform its work in Russia, is because the country is increasingly more isolated. So what Russia is trying to do is put the squeeze on any country that is critical or adversarial towards the Putin-led state. Now, he said that it's not just Israel that Russia are trying to squeeze, they're trying to squeeze Germany as well. He says, threats of many people who will possibly die during the winter as a result of not receiving Russian gas sources is putting the pressure on the Germans as well. Now, if you recall, yesterday the Jerusalem Post had published an exclusive where they said they are expecting an announcement that the physical work of the Jewish Agency in Israel could come to an end soon. However, the Jewish Agency have said that they are doing all they can. Even though that this could be a possibility, they will not leave until they absolutely have to, and that they will carry on doing the important work that they do there, which is facilitate the immigration of Russian Jews to Israel. if the Jewish agency are forced to end physical operations in Russia, Jews will still be able to get the same services either online or telephonically. And you know we love to end our broadcast with a positive story, and this one really rocks. British rockers Coldplay were playing their concert in Brussels the other night when a young Israeli teenager by the name of Gili Torres held up a sign and said she really wanted to play Green Eyes with them. She had a guitarist with them. She was all ready to rock. Well, band leader Chris Martin pulled her up on stage and she gave a fabulous rendition of Green Eyes with the legendary Coldplay. And when she was finished, Chris Martin said to her, "Gilly, that was effing awesome." No, Chris, you're effing awesome because you recognize smart, good Israeli young talent when you see it. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of the Israel Brief. Don't forget that if you're looking for good content this weekend, look no further than our website at www.layoftheland.online. Check out our articles we've published over the week. Check out our archives, our Israel Briefs, all the stuff that you love from Lay of the Land. Our Facebook page is at Lottel's site. You know what to do. Like us, follow us, share our content. We love it when you do. And don't forget to check in to see where in the country we are to wish you Shabbat Shalom. We always try and mix it up on a Friday. Our YouTube channel is at the Israel Brief. If you're watching us, please consider inviting your friends to, sharing our content, and of course clicking on that red subscribe button. And we're on Twitter at Lay of the Land 5. That's Twitter at Lay of the Land 5. With that, from all of us to all of you, have a wonderful weekend. Shabbat Shalom. If you're in the north, stay cool. If you're in the south, stay warm. If you're just generally anybody anywhere, have a wonderful weekend. We'll check in with each other on Monday for your top stories. I'm Rolene Marks. Thanks for watching the Israel Brief this week, and we'll see you on the other side of this weekend.